In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, to whom we all have to turn back. Honorable listeners and respectable audience, you know that we have started a series of linguistics. In the previous chapter, we talk about the sounds of language, that how sounds are produced, how sounds are articulated, how sounds are formed, and how sounds are made. Today, I'm going to share with you the main difference between the place of articulation and the manner of articulation. If you remember, I shared with you about the place of articulation. That place of articulation means that where the sounds are produced. What organs, what parts are involved and active participating in the production of sounds. So, to make it short, or in other words, the place of articulation means the organs or the place where the sounds are produced. As I shared with you that there are two types of articulators: active articulators and passive articulators. Active articulators are those which move toward passive articulators. On the other hand, passive articulators are those which do not move. The examples of active articulators are our tongue and our lower lip. Our lower lip moves and touch with our upper front teeth or with our upper lip, and then sounds produce. So lip is active articulator, and our tongue, that is active articulator, and the parts of the tongue such as the tip of the tongue, the back of the tongue, the front of the tongue, and the blade of the tongue. All these are the parts of the tongue and they are called active articulators. So, our lower lip, the tongue and the parts of the tongue, they are active articulators. They are actively participating and involved in the production of sounds. On the other hand, when we are talking about passive articulators are those which do not move. Take the example of our vocal cords. Take the example of our larynx. Take the example of our palate. So these are passive articulators. Now, we already talked about that where sounds are produced. Sounds are produced, for example, we talk about labiodental sound, bilabial sounds, dental sounds, velar sounds, alveolar sounds, glottal sounds. We discuss them one by one in detail. So if you want to listen them, you may go to the previous topics and learn them chronologically. Now, come back to the manner of articulation. What is the manner of articulation and what we will discuss in the upcoming topics about the manner of articulation. Listeners and audience, manner of articulation mean how sounds are produced. How sounds are produced, how sounds are articulated, how sounds are formed. Though we talk about in the place of articulation as well, but here particularly we are talking about that, when we are learning the sacred language, then the manner of articulation is important. But when we acquiring is a past language, is a child, then we do not need the manner of articulation, then we need actually the place of articulation. Because that is the process of acquisition. What we had surrounding from our surrounding, from our environment, from our parents, then we reproduce those things, those words and those sentences. But when we are talking about the manner of articulation in second language, so in second language, the manner of articulation is important because it is learning process. For learning process, the environment is necessary, and a particular environment necessary, institution is required, because you will learn the pronunciation of the correct word, the spelling of correct word. Especially here we are talking about the correct pronunciation, that you can convey the exact and the clear meaning without any ambiguity and confusion. So that's why in manner of articulation we will talk about that how sounds are produced. Either when sounds are produced with some sounds, talking about the consonant sounds. So with some sounds the flow of the air stops, and with some sounds the flow of the air move and do not stop. If we are talking about, for example, the plosive sounds, we are talking about the fricative sounds, we are talking about those sounds with which the air flow, and which even does not need that hardness. And there are other sounds which produce with vibration, and there are other sounds which produce without vibration. Like we talk about voice sound and voiceless sound. So listeners and audience, I shared with you the main difference between the place of articulation and the manner of articulation, and the upcoming lectures we will talk about that what are the types of manner of articulation. So be with me and listen to this lecture in the upcoming lectures as well. Thank you.